Hi guys, so PMQs on Wednesday was quite eventful. Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition, knocked a few lumps out of Boris Johnson, highlighting how his own side had turned on him, but Ian Blackford of the SNP really went to town on the Prime Minister. Here he trolled Johnson not once but twice. The first involved the Tory bench, but the second involved a Monty Python reference. The Prime Minister tried to hit back with a disconnect from reality, but nobody was really buying it. Amazing stuff. Enjoy.
Mr. Speaker, week after week, I've called on this Prime Minister to resign. I've been met with a wall of noise from the Tory benches. I thought they were trying to shout me down, but all this time... Mr. Speaker, it turns out that 41% of them have been cheering me on. Because...
I love this. Trolling not just Johnson, but trolling also the Tories.
Mr. Speaker, let's be clear. At least the numbers don't lie. 41% of his own MPs have no confidence in him. 66 of MPs across the House don't support him, and 97% of Scottish MPs want the Minister for the Union shown the door. We now have a lame duck Prime Minister presiding over a divided party in a disunited kingdom. So, how does the Prime Minister expect to continue when even unionist leaders in Scotland won't back him?
Prime Minister. I want to thank the right honourable gentleman for his characteristic warm words. And actually, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the biggest and most powerful and effective advocate of the United Kingdom over the last time that I've been in has been that man there. I don't know how long he's going to last here as leader of the SNP, the Scottish Assembly. Long may he rest in place, Mr. Speaker. He is the Araldite that's keeping our kingdom together, right?
Look, I know Johnson is trying to be funny here, but obviously would you call this projection? Because Johnson is suggesting that Ian Blackford is the opposite of Boris Johnson here. That, in a sense, that Ian Blackford is holding the union together, and obviously Boris Johnson is destroying the union. We see it with Northern Ireland, we see it with Scotland. So Boris Johnson is the greatest advocate, the greatest asset, I should say, for Scottish independence. Just put up posters of Boris Johnson around Scotland, and people will, yeah, okay, we need to leave.
Thank you for what he's doing.
Blackford. Well, I can say to the Prime Minister, that I'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with our First Minister as we take our country to independence. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is acting like Monty Python's Black Knight, running around declaring it's just a flesh wound. And no amount of delusion and denial will save the Prime Minister from the truth. This story won't go away until he goes away. For once in his life, he needs to wake up to reality. Prime Minister, it's over. It's done. The Prime Minister has no options left, but Scotland does. Scotland has the choice of an independent future. Because it's not just the Prime Minister that we have zero confidence in. It's the broken Westminster system that puts a man like him in power. Exactly. Can he tell us, can the Prime Minister tell us how it is democratic that Scotland is stuck with a Prime Minister we don't trust, a Conservative Party we don't support, and Tory governments we haven't voted for since 1955?
And there you have it, the idea that what does Parliament represent for the people of Scotland? They have zero input. You have 90% of Tories in Scotland voting for Boris Johnson to go, voting against him. So what is the point of all of this? And they can't get rid of him. The Tories in Scotland can't get rid of Boris Johnson. The SNP in Scotland can't get rid of Boris Johnson. So what is the point of all of this charade?
Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, we had a referendum, as I've told the House before, in 2014. I think he should respect the mandate of the people. And he keeps saying that he wants his independence for his country. Our country is independent, Mr. Speaker. Our country is independent. He tried 48 times to reverse it, the leader of the opposition. And the only way that independence would ever be reversed is if we had the disaster, Mr. Speaker, of a Labour SNP coalition to take us back into the EU.
And of course, running to Brexit. So, we're independent now because we voted to leave the European Union. That's for Boris Johnson, that is independence. I don't think this works. You even have members of his own party saying maybe we should rejoin the single market again. Tobias Ellwood saying we should join the single market. Daniel Hannan, who was saying it was a bad idea to leave the single market. So that if there are Tories who are saying we should join the single market, and Boris Johnson is saying no, Brexit means freedom, then there's a bit of a problem there. And the fact, the idea that the Labour Party would rejoin, although they haven't said that, the SNP would like to rejoin the European Union. Businesses in Scotland would like Scotland or Britain as a whole to rejoin the single market and the customs union. Joining the single market and the customs union would resolve a lot of problems, but Boris Johnson resorts to his old Brexit rhetoric. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.